I have some news. I have a tripod with a remote. So the quality of these videos, I hope, is going to improve significantly. I have to thank the parishioner family who donated the tripod and the remote. It is a fun thing to think that I can move forward without pushing buttons on the phone and jiggling it while I'm moving. To improve what you watch, I hope, will be the result of this. I was thinking earlier this week that this shelter at home or stay at home order is sort of like a retreat. And retreats are such great blessings. But I was thinking about some advice that a retreat master gave years ago. I and my class were embarking on a 5-day silent retreat, and they acknowledged that 5 days of silence is a challenge, especially at the beginning. And the retreat master said, in the first day or two, don't be surprised at what comes bubbling up from within. Lots of distractions, lots of worries, lots of things that are on your mind. Just be patient with those and accept the fact that they're there. Name them as they arise, but don't get too worried about it. Don't get too distracted by them. Just let them bubble up and disappear. Their point was that when we go through a significant change in our schedule, there can be some surprising things that we experience. And I think that's good advice for all of us right now. Most of us have had to shift gears in some way. Some of us may well still be going to offices. I was over there earlier today. Some of us may still be working very scheduled hours from home. But at the same time, our lives have undergone a significant change, and that's true of almost all of us, either because we don't go out in the evening or we're at home for school instead of being here at St. Elizabeth campus. Lots of things have changed. And I think when we go through transitions like this, it's important to acknowledge them and to accept the fact that we might be feeling some things that we normally wouldn't feel. And not just because we miss our friends or because our schedules are different. Sometimes it really can trigger things to bubble up from within that we might keep at bay because we're so active and busy and moving all the time. Being at home more and maybe having less opportunity to get out, it might prompt some different kinds of reflections and thoughts. And what they told us in the seminary years ago was not to be too surprised or worried about that. There are some things that are probably simmering in all of us that don't always get much attention. But when we slow down, we start to notice some of those things. So we shouldn't be too surprised and we shouldn't be too upset by those things. We just have to let them bubble up and in some ways evaporate. They also told us that we need to be patient with ourselves in a time like this, just to give ourselves time to live into it and not be too quick to judge ourselves or others, to be patient and to accept it as a journey, that we're walking into a different way of life. I think that advice is very helpful right now. The other thing I remembered is that they said, not to be too quick to make any decisions at a time when we're going through a transition of any kind. So we might be thinking, as we've gotten quieter this week, that we need to move or that we need to get a different job. They would say, be careful about making big decisions in the midst of a transition and try to keep your life as close to what it was before today, because that kind of stability is much more fruitful for decision making. So I hope that advice is helpful for you. It sure has been helpful for me many times in my life. There have been moments, I have to admit, I've gotten back from a vacation and in the old days had a stack of pink phone message slips that tall and thought, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But I reminded myself, don't make any big decisions. You just got back from a trip. This is a big transition. Just go through the day, do what you have to do, and be patient with yourself. And it's amazing how often that advice really gets me back on track very quickly. I also realize I haven't shown you my shoe choice for the last couple of days, so I wanted to share these with you because they are super cool. It's a sneaker and it's a plaid, and it's one of those things that when I put it on, it just makes me smile. As I said the other day, it's like bringing some jazz to your life. So uh, bring some jazz to your life in whatever way that works for you. And keep up the good work. I know it's been a challenging week for us as students of St. Elizabeth School to start distance learning. It's been challenging for our teachers, administration, for our parish staff to be working from home. We just met yesterday in a Zoom meeting. It's all good, but it's all different. So a lot to process right now. And I find that we just need to be patient with ourselves and with each other as we go through these transitions. So keep up the good work, everybody. I hope you'll see some real improvements in the video quality for Mass this weekend. We've been working hard on that this week. Lots of technical options, and with those comes a lot of time processing and trying things and the whole trial and error method. But I hope you enjoy the changes to that. Keep up the great work, everybody. If you're sick, you're in my prayers, and let us continue to move forward in a spirit of joyful hope.